Wednesday, November 24th.
I'll be sitting as council tonight then. Oh, God. Change, I'm gonna be council tonight for the board. Is that okay?
Hello? Call to order. Roll call, please.
Madam Mayor, I just want to make an announcement that the attorney is running late.
Okay.
I'll step in.
How late is the attorney? Okay. We'll move on. Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Here.
Trustee Wilson. Here. Trustee Payton.
Here.
Trustee Griffin.
Present.
Trustee Brunette.
Present.
Trustee Oscar Brown.
Here.
Mayor Covington.
Present. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of Allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Williams, would you come, please?
The mics need to go
Thank
on.
you.
We can't hear
Thank you.
anything.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Pass the plate.
Let us bow in prayer. God, for another day, we thank you. For the village of University Park where you have placed us, we thank you. We pray now for this meeting. We pray that you would grant us the ability to hear one another, the ability to discuss, and the ability to even dare to disagree without being disagreeable. We pray for you to move us forward, and that this would be the place that you would have it to be. Bless the proceedings this evening. This is our prayer we offer. In your perfect and strong name, amen. Just also want to let people know, if you need Thanksgiving baskets, or you know someone who needs Thanksgiving baskets, we're distributing them at the church right now, First Baptist Church, right down the street. So if you want to text somebody who you know needs it, they're there right now. Baskets with turkeys and
Just
side.
so everybody.
Come on, you got it. All right. Bless you.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes, please.
I'm going to make a motion that we table the minutes, Mayor.
Second.
Just second. You didn't finish your statement. You took it back. You just received them. I don't have mine here.
Madam Mayor, they're untabled.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there a second motion?
I second
Larry
it.
Brown motion, and, I'm sorry, trustee Larry Brown and trustee Brunette second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Okay.
Trustee Wilson. Both sides. Trustee Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Both sides of the table.
Trustee Brunette.
Both sides of the table.
Trustee Oscar Brown. Mayor Covington.
Aye. Public, general public, please.
This is going to be a short meeting, maybe some 10 minutes.
Tell me.
What's wrong, the mics don't work?
No, they don't work.
You got a sign-in sheet?
Visitors are always welcome to all public meetings of the Board of Trustees. To comment on an issue, persons willing to speak will be called upon the mayor during Section E general public. The interested party will stand, identify themselves, and make their comment. In order to give proper consideration to all items on this agenda, the mayor will limit participants in the debate and will close off protracted, repetitive, irrelevant, and abusive remarks. Elizabeth Williams.
Mic not working? I'm gonna speak up tonight.
Okay. Mayor, Board of Trustees, can't hear you. Board of Trustees to the Mayor, General Public. Board of Trustees to the Mayor, General Public. I, Elizabeth Williams, would like to ask a couple of questions. Under your administration, Mayor Covington, I noticed that you had, the last meeting, you had said that we were going to hire different people to come and shovel the snow for University Park. Okay, well, it was under your administration, okay? And I can't understand when we have public works do all these type of things for us. I don't understand why you want to give that money to somebody else instead of to our workers that we have already and we pay. I also like to know the money that you want to give to somebody else to shovel our snow. Why don't you buy a couple of more snow, what you call those things?
Snow blowers?
Yeah, the blowers. Why don't we buy a couple of them with the money we're gonna get to somebody else and let the people who already work for the University Park make their money? That's the question to you. Other thing I would like to say to Keith Griffin. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up, I gotta go back one. Back to the mayor. I was sitting up there on that board as Trustee Williams when Keith Griffin brought up the ribbon, not the ribbon, but the I-57 to vote for it, and we all voted aye for it. But I didn't get called to come up to help cut the ribbon. All right, Keith, I think you did, Trustee Griffin, I think you did a good job. The job you took over at the Mayor McCollum, Mayor Al McCollum. And you excuse me, as you know, I got sick and I'm getting myself back together right now. So it's going good and I want everybody to know. But these are questions I'd like to know. Why were we taking the money from University Park to give to somebody else when we have people working here for Public Works? And why wasn't I invited up to cut the ribbon? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, to address your question, Ms. Williams, thank you for your service. And also, as far as that, I did not say that distinctively. I said clearly that if we're less people, we don't have enough people to shovel the snow. And I think I'll have another colleague, one of my trustees, to comment on that as well, that in the event, just to make sure everyone is clear and can get out to go to work in the mornings, that we will have other people in the village that live in the village, that are licensed in the village, that has a business in the village, to help us shovel the snow. Trustee Rudez, would you like to comment as well?
Well, you know, just to talk a little bit about that, if we're running short on manpower in Public Works, it was, I think, Trustee Brown and I have been talking about getting some kind of ordinance or resolution in place that will give our local minority contractors an opportunity to earn additional money and work with our workforce. And I think that's what that came in, because now we've expanded all the way over to Ridgeland Avenue West, and we've got an interchange open, and then we're going so far north, we don't have the manpower necessary to cover all those things. So it was our suggestion, Liz or Trustee, that we would possibly advertise for local minority contractors that have experience and license with the village and insured to do additional snow plowing to assist with us. Basically trying to create, like we did when you was on the board, try to create local jobs and stir our economy by creating jobs at home and opportunities for our minority contractors.
Yes, I do. But
that's
the
what
jobs that we have with Public Works, the people who work for Public Works, we can also add some more people that work with Public Works. If we can get these snow plows, invest in ourselves so that we can do this work.
And we did just buy a new snow plow too.
Thank God for that. So now our people can go and do the work.
That's what we said.
That's good. Now,
Well,
ribbon
we have the
cutting.
equipment, that's it. Okay. Thank you.
I'm talking about the ribbon cutting. Why didn't you invite me up to help cut the ribbon?
I
When I voted on
apologize,
it.
but at the time, they were elected officials. That's who were called to do that. I didn't even coordinate that. IDOT coordinated that.
Oh, I got you.
Yes, they did.
Oh, and they invited everybody to come up.
They did the coordination. But I did talk to you on the cable with you. Thank you very much. Okay? Next.
Donzel and Bridget Franklin.
Coach. evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Good evening, trustees. Probably just want to take some time to celebrate our youth. We had an awesome football season this year.
And cheerleading season.
Four of our levels qualified for the playoffs this year. Our Pee Wee level, which I brought the captains of the Pee Wee team here today, made it to the Super Bowl and took second in the Super Bowl. They also competed in a national tournament in which they took second place in the national tournament this year. So we did making sure that we get our kids exposure and they'll have a lifetime experiences. And more importantly, 68% of the Pee Wee team made the high honor roll this year out of 25 kids. If I can just highlight some of the things that we did academically. Joshua Franklin stepped forward. He's a 5th grade student at Coretta Scott King. Has the average written mathematics score is 199 in the state. Joshua Franklin had a 233. The average writ score is 194. Joshua Franklin had a 217, which means he's reading. He's in the 5th grade. He's reading and doing math on a 7th grade level. Malik Morgan stepped forward, 6th grade student, the 6th grade center, straight A's. His teacher reports that he's an excellent student, does outstanding work, and an asset to have in class. Lionel Phillips Williams, high honor roll. James stepped forward. James Worthington had a grade that he had to bring up. He came to the team and apologized to the team for having a low grade. And within 1 week's time, he brought that grade up to where he was supposed to be. So I want you to give him a hand. All right.
Also, board, I would like to tell you that I am the head coach for the Pee Wee cheerleading team. And you guys should have been absolutely proud of our kids this year because the cheerleading Pee Wees went to competition and they got second place this year. So I want to say congratulations to the kids and to the parents for being such dedicated parents, and thank you guys so much for the support. I really want to let you guys know that these kids really put University Park on the map this year. All people was doing in the league was talking about University Park Pee Wees. That's all they was talking about. They was very excited about playing these guys. And it was an honor to play all of them because they even knew our kids. They knew our kids. And when Joshua got hurt, that was the talk of the league. Joshua was on crutches, and that was the talk of the league. And number 3 got hurt. That's all they kept talking about. And they even presented Joshua with a gift at Super Bowl this year because they knew that he was a huge asset to the University Park Pee Wee team. So I just want to let you guys know we are so proud of these kids. Our program worked really hard with these kids. All of us are. We have the parents here, the coaches, the volunteers. We really take time out of our time to really help mold and shape the minds of these young kids. And they really have put University Park on the map. They just made us so proud this year, you guys. I really hope that you guys really appreciate what they was able to do for the community this year. And this is Sanaya. She was
bring her forward. Don't make her stay shy.
This is my niece Sanaya. She's also on a high honor roll at Coretta Scott King, and she was also on my Pee Wee cheerleading team that earned second place. So thank you guys so much for the support. I just ask that you guys continue to keep our youth in your prayers. They really are doing an amazing job, and thank you guys. Thank you kids for being awesome kids.
One program that me and my wife started was the Lions to Leaders program. So if at any time any player at cheerleaders grade point out to fell below a C average, the coaches was required to report it to us, and we made sure that the students received some tutoring to make sure they brought their grades up.
That's
I just want to get some.
Mildred Morgan.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
You know, on October 30th, there was a wonderful event, something very, very special that happened here, and that was the opening of 57. And there was a person that was here all alone. All alone. This person has been here, and I've just got to give some names. And we had, at that event, Congresswoman Robin Kelly, Representative Anthony DeLuca, Larry Walsh, Mayor Al McCowan, Mayor David Johnson of Harvey, Trustee Joseph Rudez, Trustee Griffin, Kurt D. Jones, Chief John Pate, Keely Childress of Park and Rec, Jerry Townsend, consultant, Officer Reed, William Reed, Ernest from Robinson Engineers, Albert Shaw, Eileen Tate from IDOT, Sharice Williams, Will County Regional Board of Trustees, Mary Truss from Mary T's Perspective,
All right.
Barbara Brown, a long, long time and wonderful woman, a resident here in University Park, and also Mildred Morgan of Park and Recreation in this village.
Don't forget
But-
Williams.
Oh, yeah. I got it right here. I got it right here. I'll show it to you. Also, Trustee Elizabeth Liz Williams. This plaque that we have is a piece of the ribbon. This is the one and only piece, and it's so unique because it has all of these wonderful people's signature on it. These people love and supported University Park, and they also love and support the one person that all of us acknowledge here in University Park. And this ribbon is just as unique as she is. I'd like to present, and I will be honored to present this ribbon to our village manager, Johnny Townsend. This is the first big piece under you. You've been here all along. You've been here in this village when the IDOT opening was first discussed. You helped out the different mayors that was here in this village, the different trustees, the different consultants and people, the different people, residents that live here. You were here. And we just really admire how confident, how really, really and truly confident you are in yourself. I'd like to give this, present this to you. May I?
You deserve it.
Who's the next one?
I have one more thing to say,
Donna Bell.
and that is
I'm sorry, your
University Park
I'm sorry, your
We
time is
need,
up now. Your time is
Donna
up.
Bell.
Donna Bell. You
and
need
a change of leadership.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Sorry you were there. I was there. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Good evening, board trustees. Hi. Good evening, board trustees. Hi, how are you? I came here this evening to ask a question. I was recently at a function, a recreational function in Crete, the village of Crete. And I've been in University Park. I'm a proud resident of this village. I was just, I love where I live, as you all know. I was concerned because one of Crete board members asked me, was University Park bankrupt? It took me by surprise because I was like, I haven't been able to attend any of the meetings, and I want to know the truth. And I felt that I don't want to hear it from gossip. I want to know the state of our village and our finances. And if we are having a problem, I feel as a tax-paying resident, it should be addressed. You should let us know and know your plan and course of action to fix it. And so I am concerned because I do own a home here, and I don't want this to be the next up-and-coming Harvey. That is not what I want to see. So I feel that as the board and trustees, it's something that needs to be discussed openly with us as residents, addressed and fixed. And whatever you need us to do to support you to do it, I feel that it can be done, but I don't want to be the laughing stock of all the neighboring communities because we don't know what is going on with our village, and we're ignorant and blind to what's going on. So I would appreciate it if you all would address our finances, have some form of a village meeting to discuss that, and tell us what is truly going on, because we need to know.
Thank you. We will do that. There was a meeting last Wednesday that was open to the residents, the finance meeting, and all of that was addressed. And I will turn this over to our illustrious village manager. Yes.
Okay, to answer the question, the board will be having a workshop December the 8th so that we can address and get a better hand on what's going on with the village. The village will be invited, of course, because it will be a public setting. So that will be the first opportunity for us to explain what's going on. You will actually see the board working unified in order to reconcile the issues. And it will be an ongoing process until we get things headed in the right direction.
Okay, wonderful. And one thing I want you all to know and understand, that we support you all of you all wholeheartedly, each and every last one of you. And you all have to remember that a house divided against each other cannot stand. And we want action. We want to see progress. I was very angered to see that Olympia Fields got a Walmart. Where's our grocery store? Where's our Walmart? We need some things and we want them. So people will come and live in our village and want to come and be part of our community. I feel we have a better community than Crete. I mean, I may be a little biased, but it is what it is.
Okay.
So thank you, and you all have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Next.
Kari Boykin? Carrie, sorry.
That's okay. Good evening, Mayor Covington and Board of Trustees.
Good evening.
Employees, residents. My name is Carrie Boykin. My name is Carrie Boykin. I'm a resident of University Park, and I have a couple of concerns where I live. There is a street light that's out on Greenbrier Lane between 865 and 867. Also, at one of our Town Home Association meetings, Mayor and the then manager, Bola Delano, attended, and our Town Home Association board was told that our street was on the agenda to be paved. Are there still funds allocated for that paving?
I have to do that.
Okay, because that street is just beyond, it's beyond terrible. And during the warm weather months, we have a lot of kids, and they are picking up these little chunks of asphalt and tossing them around, and it is a complete nuisance. So I'd really like to know when that street is going to be done. Greenbrier.
Okay.
Also, I am looking at planting some trees, trying to beautify that little strip that is behind where I am on Greenbrier and between Cordova with that ugly fence. I came up with a brilliant idea, which is to plant evergreens in front of that ugly wall. So I took it to the homeowners association, and they are saying that that strip of land where I want to plant the trees is owned by the village. So I just want to know who owns the land, who do I need to talk to about planting the trees?
And we will get with you on that, Ms. Johnson, would you please note that? Thank you.
We'll find out.
Okay.
That would be Public Works, but Mr. Johnson will get that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, my other hat, as a employee of Avatar Corporation, I would like to thank Manager Townsend and the chief, is it Pate?
Pate, yes.
Chief Pate, for the issue that we had over at Avatar. Thank you so much for your speedy work on that for us, on our behalf. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you.
Is that it?
I'm sorry.
My time up?
Yeah, but he's gonna
Because
respond.
I do have one other thing.
But we have to be fair.
Okay.
He's gonna respond to you.
Okay, after I'm finished, right?
No, you have to finish because everybody have to stay. at
Okay,
the time.
okay, I
But
just,
you can stay, we can use it at the next meeting, you can tell us, and we can address it at the next meeting. That's okay with you.
okay,
Okay.
and,
So he's gonna respond to you here. Is that
thank
okay?
you.
Yeah,
Just
hey, again, we recently passed a head tax ordinance, not recently, I guess it has been about a year and a half. We did allocate funds from the head tax ordinance, I believe the board meeting before the election. It just hadn't been scheduled, it got shelved for a while, then it got put back on. Hopefully we'll be addressing that very soon. A lot of this is going to hinge on what happens on December 8th when we find out our financial situation.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Star Lawson.
Good evening, Mayor, Board,
Good
Village
evening.
officials, residents. I'm Star Lawson. And first, I want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving with family. Family is important. My prayers go out to those in our village who recently lost a loved one, to the White family and the Henderson family. And also, we have a family in distress that something awful happened. Just pray for families in our village. It grieves me to share with you all that due to my recent findings of inappropriate and irresponsible spending by Mayor Covington on the village credit card and continued indebtedness to our village by unnecessary travel and conference fees and hotel charges, a once staunch supporter I was. And I repeat, I was. But now, Mayor Covington, I have to ask you to please reconsider your bad decisions and how they affect the taxpayers. Spending all the money, going on trips. You too, Trustee Wilson, went to the trip in Washington, D.C., spent lots of money to go on that trip. Bola also. This was the Congressional Black Caucus. There is no money. Why do you continue to spend money when there is no money? Is that how you run your household also? This is the taxpayers' money. You cannot run it the same way you do your household. Stop spending the money that is not there. Residents deserve better. There is no money. Stop spending so triviously, and we need accountability. We need you to be accountable to the taxpayers. This is not your money. It's the taxpayers' money. Put the credit card away. Stop spending. Stop spending. That is what we're asking you to do. Thank you.
That's interesting. We just,
David Sevier, Mayor, or no, respond to that?
yes, I will respond to that. Can we stop the annoyance? Before you speak, Mr. Savier, I would respond to that. I just did have a trip through, there's no cost to the village. It's free. They just sent me the one I just came on. The one you're referring to, We all up here have a budget, well, you well know that. We all have a budget. And we had some trustees just came back from a trip, but I noticed that you didn't name that. And that was $5,000. And we all have a budget to go on trips for reasons, and what we do for the village. So no one is going on any more trips. We have cut that. And any trips that I go on, I will pay, and I can't afford, and you don't know anything about my personal budget. But what I do in my personal life has nothing to do with this and my expenditures. But again, when we do have a budget, we have to do what we have to do to get things here for the budget, for the village, just like that I-57. That takes a lot of work and a lot of time. No one says anything when I take my leave to do what I have to do for this village. I sacrifice a lot, and everyone else up here does too. So we will be mindful of our expenditures.
Thank you.
There's no more trips scheduled for this year that I know of, because people go on trips and I don't even know they're going. So when we look for, I think we should look for everyone's expenditures on trips, because they've outbeat me as far as trips and expenditures. Thank you. Mr. Sappington.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. I know we had a great joint meeting last week, the Finance Committee and the Board. And first of all, I do want to apologize to Sharon, because I may have came across a little bit passionate. People sometimes think I'm trying to beat you up from that standpoint, but that's my passion, that's my love, and my care and love for this village. So I do apologize if it came across that way. But I'm here to talk about this bond that's on this agenda today. And I want to use a little history, as much as I hate to go backwards because of all the innuendos that have been spread. But there's two things that we can truly say. When I first came here, there was a bond on the table to redo that golf course. And I truly advised the Finance Committee and the Board that the revenues would not cover that. At the time, the person who spearheaded that was Trustee Payton. You got that bond done, knowing that it was going to cost this village $500,000 that we could not cover. So now when we come 12 years up and we $6 million in the hole, we want to blame the management of the golf course for that. Unfair. You knew it when you did the bond. We was going $6 million in the hole, $500,000 a year. You knew it when you started. Strike two related to this. When you spearheaded the board on bringing in a village manager who was not capable of doing the job, which then at the time when the village manager came in, the village was at $1.3 million in the hole. It was well known by the board, it was well known by everybody else. The number that's in place now, you cannot blame any management, any finance director, because you sitting up there as one of the board members who bought the personnel, just, with the big book, the changes that this person is going to bring to the village by bringing them in here, has only took this village down tremendously. Now you want to sit up here and spearhead, once again, a $7 million bond? Don't go for it, board. 3 strikes is enough. I will respect you more if you would sit there, be quiet, and get along with the board, because all decisions that you have spearheaded have done nothing but took this village down in the ground. And you can talk about the finance director, you can talk about the management, but at the end of the day, no one has indebted this village with their ideas and their strong viewpoints to convince the board to do something than you. You all have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to say as usual, Mr. Sevier, but as usual, your facts are all wrong. Just like they were last Wednesday, where you have a convenient memory to forget the past. First of all, I had nothing to do with the purchase of the golf course. I wasn't a trustee. I didn't know anything about it until the deal was consummated. That's the first thing. Okay? Now, I let you speak and I didn't interrupt. So that is a total misrepresentation. The second thing is you said I brought in the village manager, which is another total fabrication. The village manager was selected before I got elected.
That's true.
Okay? They held him in abeyance because they thought the political winds would blow a different direction and somebody else would be occupying that chair as the village manager. Remember that one? Okay? So, when I came on board, he had been selected by a search firm. Okay? So we just went ahead and hired him since he had been selected by what was, by most measures, a fair process. And the mayor was Al McCowan at that time, all right? I didn't even have a glimmer when that process took place. So as usual, you know, when you sit here, when you served for what, 3 years as the finance director of this village and as the acting village manager, we are still trying to recover from your work.
Yes.
We're still trying to recover from your work, okay? So please, you know, don't let your memory be so convenient, and get your facts straight the next time.
Amen.
I'd appreciate it, and so would the public.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Gina Williams?
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, board, residents. Welcome back, Oscar.
Thank you,
Good to
Ms.
see
Williams. That's Trustee Brown.
Absolutely. Where would we be without you? I have several comments. One, these children are our most highly possession. For them to be that, and then for someone to get up here and talk about expenditures, and from what I'm hearing, and I have 2 sons on the baseball team, I would like to know what happened with the expenditures from the baseball team, that we don't know where the books, the credit card, etc.
I have it.
Okay, then that should have been turned over to the right people, so
I
we
am
can
the
see
right
how
person.
that, but it
Talk to
also
me later.
belongs to them,
Talk to me
and
later.
that should have been done.
Talk to
If
me
Sonia
later.
Jenkins was here, I would have told her, we had a great village manager sitting in that chair who had businesses lined up, banks lined up, cityscape would have been gone, a lot of wonderful things would have been going on. She took a salary break, $107,000, which it was supposed to be $130,000. We're giving somebody $107,000 and no shade, but I don't feel she deserves that. We're giving her a car, which I feel like if we're so broke, why should that have happened? And the list goes on. So let's be perfectly clear. And then with the bizarre thing that took place up here last week, what I found really bizarre was that she went outside and she conducted police business when you're supposed to be in here conducting village business. That is not your place, that's not your position. We have a highly qualified chief, highly qualified officers. There should have been no rush to judgment to run out there. You're concerned about the person on the floor, that's fine. Check on their well-being, but to give orders and to tell a person what to do, that should not have been your position. If there had been a fire, I don't think you could tell the fire chief how to put out the fire. So the police chief should not have been told, or whoever was told, how to handle that. So that let me know that I don't feel that confident in you running this village. I think that sent a message to our residents as well. Because now you have set a precedent that if somebody else comes up here to clown, or go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or whatever the case may be, you gave them a pass. So now somebody else can come up here and do the same thing, because they're gonna expect that. Is that not a lawsuit? I just don't feel, and then I still say, and Ms. Frazier, attorney, has not answered, why was she given a 2-year contract when the other person had not been dismissed? Why was that done? Mr. Rudez said we should give her 6 months to get to know the chief. But we didn't give Ms. Delano 6
I
months.
said a year.
Oh, well, a year. We didn't even give Bola that amount of time. So I would like to answer.
You've been, excuse me, you have no more time. Ms. Gabbard, she's out here. There you go.
Hotel accommodation.
Sir.
$650
The rest of the
donation.
meeting. Not gonna be disrespectful to
Times
you.
3. Bola.
Yeah.
What did I say? Remove it. It's done. A gavel hit, let's do it. We're not gonna have that tonight. Action items. Is that it, sir? Is there any more?
No, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Such a disturbance.
Okay, I'd like to address several of the comments that were made. As far as the vehicle that I'm driving, that vehicle was approved back in August prior to me arriving. It was approved for the previous village manager. As far as me getting up and going outside with the chief,
Excuse me, can you all please be quiet so we can hear what the village manager is saying because the mics aren't working? Please, thank you.
I'm going to reiterate, the car that I am driving was approved by the board back in August. This is before I was even thought of. So I am reaping the benefits of an approved car, and according to village ordinance, the mayor and the village manager can have a vehicle in order to conduct day-to-day business. As far as me going outside with the chief, the role of the village manager is to handle the day-to-day activities within the village and to support their staff. So anytime there is a disturbance in this village hall or outside in this village, it is my responsibility to support my staff, my board, in the activities that go on day to day. And I promise you, if anybody stands up, I will stand up too. If anybody's taken out, I will be there with the chief and support him if that is needed. If the board needs assistance, that is my job to help take care of it. That's called being a village manager and taking care of the responsibilities of the village. The chief handled the proper protocol. He just had the support of his village manager, and he knows that I am there for him. Yes, I hope it did set a standard and a precedent because I will continue to do it.
Thank you. Okay, but we can find out. We got some changes that need to be done on that. We'll change that later. I will not speak on that publicly.
I think we might be live, that's all.
Okay,
I think I might go back.
all right. Okay, Chief, you have another one?
Reverend Reginald Williams Jr.
Oh, he's gone. Then we wanted to make a comment for the turkeys that's available for the people at his church. So that's what we want to do. We had to leave.
Sharice
Okay,
Williams.
and we are 30 minutes time.
Last person, man.
Okay.
Sharice Williams.
Hello, Mayor, Board, thank you so much, I appreciate it all about love. And Village Manager, supporting staff, thank you so much for being here. I'd first like to say happy holidays to everyone. And second, I'm going to say condolences to all the families who may have lost someone. Ms. Janetta White, I am very, very, very bereaved from your loss. We love you and we support you. If you need us, please let us know. I've come to speak on the new exit that we have for University Park. It's wonderful. It's absolutely marvelous. I love it. To get to Chicago from here, the time has been cut short by at least 15 to 17 minutes. I mean, to be able to come home and get off on that exit is flawless. And so I'm very appreciative of everyone who had collectively voted for it, thought about it, went to meetings, and everything that you've done. Thank you, all, just like that, because I don't want to leave anybody out.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to say is on that exit, we need to be mindful because that Sunday morning after the snow, I went to church and it was full of ice. I mean, it was literally full of ice. So we have to be careful that whomever is supposed to shovel that or put snow on that it's a new exit and it may get overlooked. And because it is new and it may get overlooked, we don't want anyone to get hurt on that particular exit. I don't know if it's the county, if it's IDOT.
The ramp is on IDOT.
Yeah, actual ramp. So I don't know if they just missed it or forgot about it, but it was literal ice going through and we almost slid off. And when we got on the expressway, it was, clear because they had more traffic, but I'm sure we don't just use it as much. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you very much. Have a nice holiday, and love to you.
Thank you.
That's it.
I would like to thank everyone that came out on the ribbon cutting as well. I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to sign it. But, and Trustee Wilson, I appreciate you coming out as well. Although you weren't mentioned as well. I'd like to say on that, or, no, I'll just say it for my report. Some of the people don't know, we had, that's a long, I have to say this since there was so much comments on it. There were a lot of people that worked on that. And we have to give credit where credit is due. Ms. Bolden at that time, and Mr. Townsend was there with us. We went to Schaumburg, and at the time we had a big meeting, and there was a position that they had where it's not even going to think about it. This has been going on since the 60s. And we were so happy that it finally came to fruition. Our previous engineers said that they didn't think we were concerned about it. We almost lost the money. There was 10 million, but we found the money was 7 million. Ms. Bolden at that time was the deputy director, and with her thanks, her blessings, she got on the call and she helped us get that done. And I have to give her that. In her absence, she has to be honored for what she did to help us get that done. And also, I'd like to thank Mr. Townsend tremendously for what he did. He was a great instrument in that. He sits in the back humbly, but he did a lot of work on that. And also, I'd like to thank TOD, Transportation Committee, which I sit on as well, and to announce that more money, people, not my money, but more money. I just signed a letter, November 13th, of the Village of University Park recognized the bids were opened in November 6th for this project. After reviewing Austin Tier Construction Incorporated parent, low bid was in proposed of $4,784,597. We do concur, and the award of this project and additional funding is anticipated. So I am now, and should any questions, contact Mr. Jerry Townsend, Mayor Covington. I had a meeting 2 Tuesdays ago, and I begged them for more money, and this is the money that we were granted for additional construction, and another $1 million in 2017 is the letting. We had a competition, our bid was too high, and we had no bids. So it went a little lower, and we did a vote on the telephone, and we got this money now for next year. So I'm very happy, and I think a round of applause for University Park getting another $4 million for another project is in order. And I so, with that said, I'm going to...
One more comment.
Sure.
I'll make it real brief. When we're speaking about the interchange, there's one thing about the interchange that deeply concerns me, and that's protecting our borders. We have to be very conscientious of Green Garden, right on that western exit. When they come off, they'll be going into Green Garden Township. You gotta be careful of Frankfurt, and you gotta be careful of Richmond Park and Park Forest, because they can box us in and buy that land. So it's very important that I encourage people to utilize the interchange as much as possible. That way we can get our traffic counts up on IDOT, so we can justify economic development in that region. It's vitally important to this region right now, in that Eastern Will County corridor, that University Park has a presence, and we bring economic and retail development to that corridor. So be mindful of that, and encourage your neighbors and encourage your friends to utilize our entrance and exit ramps. We need that economic development, and we do not need to have our projects or someone getting off first. Say, for instance, I noticed that Park Forest is selling a portion of the golf course right now. That could be Park Forest, and people from that university would be coming to Park Forest, spending tons and tons of money, and University Park will reap no benefits whatsoever. So all the hoopla is fine and dandy about the interchange, but now we have to know how to manage it and deal with it to make sure that we benefit the most from that interchange and our hard work and our labor. And that's the comments I'd like to make.
Thank you, and that's why being on the Transportation Committee is very important to me, to make sure we get those borders. That's why we got this other $4 million and the other $1 million coming up. And Manager Townsend and I have a great surprise for the last board meeting when you talked about development. It's really been great. So to your surprise, we're going to bring it to the board. Economic development is on the rise, and we're going to surprise you with that at the next board meeting. We're going to say the best for last. So you don't have to worry about that, Trustee Rubez. You're going to be happy. Thank you. Okay. On unfinished business. First, second, and third reading and ordinance of the Village of University Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois, providing for the insurance of not to exceed $7,500,000 general obligation bond series 2015B. Is there a motion?
Move the table.
Second. Second by trustee Oscar Brown, and thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to ask trustee Wilson, should be willing to make an amendment to her motion and also table items 2B and 2C.
I'm sorry, did you say you wanted to?
In the interest of time.
Okay. You want to do what, sir?
Also table items 2B and 2C.
2B and 2C.
If trustee Wilson would be willing to amend her motion.
Are you willing to amend
I'm
your
conferring
motion?
with the clerk to see if you can do that.
Can you, attorney?
Attorney, oh, I'm sorry, attorney? Okay,
Okay.
I amend the motion to table until we do a workshop. I repeat that, table until a workshop is done. Items 1A, B, and C.
I'll second.
Second by trustee Oscar Brown. Welcome back, sir. We missed you.
Thank you very much. Next 3 minutes.
I know. Questions, concerns?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
In reading this, going on again. In reading this, I know in talking to trustee Payton, he was stating that the developer had people on board and that they had funds of $35 million. But here in reading this, it was saying that whereas it is the judgment of the Board of Trustees, necessary project, they talk about they don't have enough for the project. So I'm concerned about where's the other money on this. That's my only question.
Okay, it's a motion. But I want the motion to table. Yeah. All right. Roll call. On the motion to table items 1A, B, and C. Roll call.
Trustee Larry Brown?
That's
Trustee first and second. Was this a motion? No, I didn't know if it was first and a second.
Trustee Wilson? Both sides of the table. Trustee Payton?
Votes no.
Trustee Griffin?
both sides of the table.
Trustee Brunette?
Pass.
Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Tucker?
Aye.
Trustee Brunette?
Votes no, table.
Okay, at this point in time, can we get a motion for this, a date for, workshop, because this has been on here too long.
That's up to you, Mayor. That's up to you.
Okay, can we do a date right now?
Madam Mayor, I thought we were going to have a series of workshops on December 8th.
No, that's something different. That's another email. So since you want clarification, trustee Griffin, I understand. So let's get a date right now. Who can get a date? Can you get a date? Can anyone obligate themselves to a date right now? Like this week? Brian?
It's a holiday weekend.
I know, I'm just trying to get it done.
It don't make no sense.
All right, Monday, I mean, it's up to anybody who wants to get it done.
I was thinking,
You want to go?
I think it's important. This project is very
We
important.
can't hear, we need to hear. Can't hear nothing.
Stop, let's stop playing games. Okay, well, would you just send something out then for her next week? Would that sound good? Okay. Next week, she said? Is everyone okay with next week, early next week? Okay. She'll send out an email. All right. New business, first, second, and third reading ordinance accepting proposal of Terry Ford for the lease purchase of a new 2015 Ford F-50, 550 F4x4 with dump, body, and plow and spreader for the Department of Public Works, authorizing expenditure of funds from the employee expense fund for the first annual payment. Is there a motion? Moved by trustee Griffin, second. Second by trustee Larry Clouse. Question?
Or more of a comment?
Yes, sir.
Although I am very appreciative that we are going to be buying new equipment that has been bid out 3 times, we have brought new equipment with head tax funds at least 3 times since we've started this. Greenbrier, Abbott, Amherst, Pin Oak, and Burnham have yet to be repaired. Greenbrier in particular has had money allocated. It's time to get on these streets. And from now on, anytime I see something in regards to the head tax funds being spent, I'm gonna bring up those streets because the people on Greenbrier deserve a better street than the one that they got. The people on Burnham really deserve a better street than the one that they have going into Thornwood House. And, you know, Abbott and Amherst, Amherst in particular has not been done in 20 years.
Okay.
And Abbott is around my block, and I would like to see that street done too. So that's it.
Thank you, trustee.
What about Pin Oak?
And Pin Oak.
Excuse me, please.
I agree with all that. I agree with all that. But my thing with you, sir, is when you,
my thing with you, sir, is when we put this head tax in place, I asked you to leave it in a separate fund. You want to put half of it in a general fund. Now that's something, no, that's on you. We would have had more than, we could have covered more territory, we had to left it in a separate fund. You wanted to put it in a general fund. So my department, Public Works, and I want to thank Trustee Rudez for what he did last meeting because I wasn't feeling good, so I didn't come. The board got police cars. That's well and good. But if you don't have snow plows to push them out of the way, they can put their sirens on and go all they want, they're not going nowhere. We need trucks. You need a call. How they gonna get there? They got 6 feet of snow and they can't go nowhere. We need trucks. Not to knock you in no kind of way. You're gonna take care of that. But I asked him when he was doing this, he didn't want to listen to it. I'm not scolding you, but I'm just saying, I wanted it all in a separate fund. We could have took care of it.
Okay.
The needs of Public Works plus it. But we're gonna get to you as soon as possible, I promise. Thank you.
And then just a second, I'm sorry, order, please. Trustee Payton and then trustee Wilson.
With all due respect to my other trustees, this employee head tax fund, the way it's being used, is nothing but a political slush fund to gather votes. The proper way that this should have been done, and should be done, is using our road and bridge fund. That's what road money is for. We have a 5-year plan for street construction. If Greenbrier, for example, is a street that direly needs repair, then it should be on the priority list in the road and bridge fund. This is nothing more, and the public needs to know that this is nothing more than a way to dole out favors to gather votes. And it's wrong, and you need to say something about this. That's why we have a road and bridge fund. Not for this board to establish what the priorities are because somebody complains about a street. There are a lot of people that complain about a lot of different things. But we should not bastardize the process for political gain.
A couple of things. Snow plows, we've had our first snow, and already in Ferry Club Estates, 2 mailboxes have been destroyed. Now my concern with buying an additional plow is if the people driving don't know how to drive, maybe they need lessons, we need new drivers, but I don't go buy a new car to allow my son to drive it and tear it up. If we're not gonna do anything with these drivers damaging the trucks, I say no. We're gonna have a financial strain, figure it out, and then get a new plow. We have plenty of people who live in the village. At the last board meeting, Trustee Rudez brought it up. Village manager Townsend said they were already working on a policy or procedure or documentation on getting licensed people in the village. If these drivers can't, if these drivers can't drive, I have problems buying a new vehicle. Next.
Send them to school.
Two-bill policies.
Next, the head tax. We keep bringing up the head tax fund. We're gonna use it for this, we're gonna use it for that. Can somebody tell me when it came up, was it used for anything in particular, or we just use it when you feel like it?
We know, you can answer.
Can I respond? Or,
Sure you can.
okay, Oscar, I'll let you go ahead. You've been kind of asking for a while.
First, Trustee Wilson, when the head tax was first brought up, it was originally for us to take care of needed projects within the village that have been neglected right away. For example, we put up guardrails around on Circle Drive and on University Parkway, to take care. So that's why this fund was set up, not for a slush fund, to take care of needed projects in the village. Now, to respond to Trustee Payton, I believe it is our duty as trustees to set the priorities for the village of University Park. Last time I checked, you know, I was gone a couple of meetings, so maybe I forgot about that while I was gone. But while I'm here to set the priorities for the village of University Park. Now, to refer to repairing Greenbrier, the most damaged, or as our residents would describe to me, raggedy streets in the village of University Park, for me to get favors is an insult to their intelligence and to ours, and quite frankly to yours. So I thought you would be a little bit smarter than that, and to say something like that.
Right.
Because this ain't no slush fund, because I'm gonna tell you, it's a raggedy street. It's a raggedy street. And the fact that I'm still here talking about it being raggedy, even after I've appropriated funds, even after, I take that back, it wasn't me, it was all of us appropriated funds to repair it, is a disgrace. And to think that sometime in 2019, that maybe the people, because I will bring it up, but that they're gonna remember so they can vote for me. And that's the reason why I created this mythical head tax fund, to get favors from the people on Greenbrier to repair their raggedy street, is an insult to everybody's intelligence up there. Trustee Griffin. Hey, we had to compromise, you know, where our general fund is getting depleted, so we had to do 50%. That's just the way it is. But I'm glad we're arguing about how we're gonna spend these head tax funds on something that, on projects that we need in this village, rather than shrugging our shoulders and saying, I don't know how we're gonna pay it.
I'll make it brief, because I don't think that you actually answered Paula's question. But the reason for the head tax was, since I kind of like spearheaded that through our legislative and operations committee, it was a way to bring in additional revenue into the community instead of putting the burden of additional taxes on our taxpayers. And what we looked at, when we looked at the industrial park, we looked at all the opportunities for employment there, and we had a handful of employees that actually lived in the village of University Park. So we came up with an additional idea to bring in some additional revenue. Again, not to put the taxes on the back of the taxpayers, first of all. Second of all, to hopefully create an environment where there can be increased employment opportunities for our residents. That was the intended purpose of the head tax. And then, I guess the other purpose was to utilize within the corporate boundaries of the village whatever deemed necessary to wouldn't constantly drain the general fund down. That was the intended purpose of the head tax. Now, about all the other stuff, I don't know about it. It was just an additional way to bring in revenue streams. So that was the intended purpose for it. Now I feel like that it was too low, and I'm, thank goodness that a part of it was put into general fund, because if it wasn't put in general fund, according to our finance director, we would not be meeting some of our financial obligations. So it kind of worked out for the best. Everybody's getting a little bit of something, but now we have to reevaluate other additional ways to bring in revenue stream to the community. And I'm finished, Mayor. I'm through for tonight.
Question manager. Bill.
No, we'll hear about it later.
All right. Roll call. Is there a motion? I'm sorry. There was a motion already.
Motions are on the table.
Roll call.
Oh, for the first
First, second, third, we are for the first, second, third.
Roll call from the trustees.
Trustee Larry Brown,
Both sides.
trustee Wilson,
Votes no.
trustee Payton,
Both sides.
trustee Griffin,
Votes aye for the trucks that Ms. Wilson gonna use.
trustee Rudell,
Votes aye.
trustee Osborne,
Votes are in favor, Greenbrier.
Mayor
The truck, sir. You've been away too long. Okay. A resolution,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
motion passed. The ordinance number is 2015-153.
5-3.
Yeah.
1553.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys need me to read it over?
Yes, please.
Okay.
2015-53.
2015-53.
Thank you.
Okay. Resolution of condolences honoring Mr. Johnny B. Little John White. And at this time, I'll have our attorney to read the resolution. Thank you.
Whereas Johnny B. White, Little John, as he was fondly called, moved his family to University Park, then the village of Park Forest South, decades ago, and immediately began to carve out his indelible mark in this community by volunteering his time and talents to help enhance the health and welfare of this community with special emphasis on our young people. And whereas Mr. White was so passionate about our youth that he was one of the original members of the 100 Men organization, where he mentored many. He was a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee for more than 25 years, and was honored as Grand Marshal at the annual Family Fling Parade. And most recently, he was inducted into the class of 2015 Chicago 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame with his team, the legendary Flamingos. And whereas Mr. White may have been short in stature, but he stood as a giant among men. And whereas Mr. White was a faithful and dedicated employee of the Parks and Recreation Department and the golf course from May 3rd, 2003 until his retirement September 30th, 2012. Whereas neither time nor space will allow us to chronicle all the contributions that Johnny Little John White made to this community and region, we know that he touched and influenced the lives of many people, especially those interested in sports and service. And whereas we know that your hearts are heavy, we know your pain, tears, and hurts are real. And while no words of ours can erase your pain, we hope you will find comfort in knowing that we share your loss, we grieve with you, and we thank him for sharing his talents and love of this community with us. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and clerk, board of trustees, staff, and citizens of the village of University Park, that our sincere and heartfelt condolences are extended to his wife, Luchetta White, and his entire family for this great loss. And be it further resolved that the mayor, clerk, and board of trustees of the village of University Park deem it both befitting and appropriate to recognize the memory of former employee and trailblazer Johnny Little John White for countless years of service by officially adopting this resolution and placing it on file with the official records of the village of University Park and presenting a copy to his wife and family as a token of our appreciation for his life and service to this village on 24th day of November 2015.
And I'd like to thank everyone that was there, Trustee Wilson and Trustee Lutez, myself, I don't know if any others.
Trustee Larry Brown.
I said, yeah, the funeral service, everyone that paid, all type of attention, condolences, flowers, love, and cards to her. This is a hard thing. Anyone lose their loved ones. So we continue to keep her in prayer. And the others, we have others sick and shut in too. The family that had this issue. Joan Lane, I think was in your block. And then also for people that we have, Miss Mary Coolin and Miss Mary Williams, keep them in prayer during this time for their illness and their recoveries. I appreciate that. Thank you. At this time, we have our PowerPoint presentation from Standard Bank. Excuse me. I'm sorry, roll call, I'm sorry.
Second.
Moved by trustee Larry Brown, second by trustee
Trustee Larry Brown.
Votes aye.
Trustee Wilson. Aye. Trustee Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez.
Votes aye.
Trustee Oscar Grant.
Aye.
Mayor Covington. Madam Mayor, the resolution number is 2015-25.
This will give a copy to the family, please. We should mount it. Okay. At this time, this was the process that had been done already. Was in the process. We had 3 banks that we've been talking to. And this time, Standard Bank's one of the ones that would come out and make a presentation to the University Park. So, Laura, this time.
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, Manager, Finance Director, and staff. I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight with you. Standard Bank would like to be your bank. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Standard Bank would like to be your bank, and I would like to be your banker. I would like to point out that I proactively approached the village about coming out and talking to them about serving as your banker. It's more than just being receiving the business. It's about being a resource to you and being a trusted financial advisor. There was a packet of information that should have been sent to all of you. I did bring extra copies if anyone would like a copy. It's a 27-page presentation. I'm not going to go through every page, but I am going to hit the highlights. So would anyone like a presentation that doesn't have theirs with them tonight at the board of the board? Okay.
Maybe we have one.
You know, can I go through go through it with them first? So I'm going to do something a little unconventional, which is I'm going to start at the end of the presentation because as an executive summary. So if you have the presentation in front of you, I'm going to go to the end of the presentation to page 25. Which is like an executive summary. Our proposal is to provide you with service through an experienced bank governmental specialty group. Standard Bank has a specialty group. I serve as the group senior vice president of a group that is called the Government and Institutional Banking Group. We do have a very experienced client-focused relationship team. I do have experience with both large and small banks. I spent the first part of my career, I actually started at Standard Bank when I was 16 years old, worked there for 19 years, got some experience in a few other places. I spent 10 years at Fifth Third Bank, which is a large bank, and I was recruited by Standard Bank many times to come back, and I went back there 2.5 years ago to head up their government and institutional banking group. One of the reasons I went back is because I think it's important to work with small, medium, and large entities, and we can do that at Standard Bank. I was also the previous relationship manager for the South Suburban Mayors and Managers. I was responsible at that point for their bond bank, and so I'm very familiar with the southern suburbs. I can give you many, many governmental references. I have many clients who are municipalities, libraries and library districts, townships, park districts, recreation departments, golf courses, public schools, and community colleges. The proposal that I have put together with my team is going to bring you more products, more services, more technology, but the best part, at a lower price than you are getting from your current banks and that you would be getting from any other banks. So, and we are also offering you the option of a flat fee for budget purposes. In the packet was a one-page document that shows we did an analysis of your current relationships, which are at Old Plain Trail and US Bank, and totaled those up and proposed against it, and with giving you some additional products. One of the products that we would like to give you is a product called Remote Data Capture, which is a small little machine that you can scan your checks through. You get your checks through much faster, you get better use of your money much quicker, and you don't have to go to the bank every day with checks. So that's one of the examples of technology. We're also looking to give you some fraud prevention tools like Positive Pay, because as we all hear about, counterfeit checks are on the rise. Positive Pay will help prevent that. We're going to give you online banking. We're going to give you the capability of you doing electronic transfers. All of that are best practices with governmental entities, and we will help protect the money that is safeguarded in your possession. We also have some value adds. We are one of the only banks that gives you a number of complimentary services as a trusted financial advisor. One of those programs is called SB at Work, which stands for Standard Bank at Work. That is a free package of products and services that we would offer to you as our customer that you can turn around and offer to your employees. We make it very easy for employees to open an account. We actually come out to your office. We will come out and bring lunch for your employees. If they want to sit down and talk to a banker, we can help them through that process. And there are some financial incentives we offer for people, customers of ours, for their employees. We offer them preferred rates on deposits and loans, and we also offer them some financial incentives to open an account. We also have a very strong financial literacy program. If you have employees that are interested in a particular topic, for example, someone wants to hear about budgeting, we will come out and do a seminar for your employees on budgeting. If there are people who are getting ready to think about sending students to college, we will come out and do a college planning seminar. If someone wants to think about retirement, they're all programs. We have about 150 different programs that we will come out and provide to your staff free of charge by experienced bankers. I have a number of governmental entities, particularly municipal clients and townships, who also like to offer those programs to residents of their towns. When we come out and we offer those to residents of your towns as a service of the village, we do that without it being a commercial for the bank. It's totally educational. We also, if you are interested in an ATM, we're willing to sit down with you and talk to you about where you might like an ATM if you would like one. That would be an investment the bank would be making in your town to provide that extra service. In some of our municipal clients, we have those in police stations, so they have 24-hour access, but obviously we would work with you about what is the best place. And I also mentioned on this same page, access to other resources. Because we have a government group, I have access to a lot of resources. Mr. Pearson was here from Stern Brothers. I know him from previous relationships. The person who you identified as being Bond Counsel Vince Kankar, I've done a number of transactions with him. Because we have a government group, we get to know a lot of the different people that are out there. So that's a little bit of the high point. That's kind of the executive summary of what we think that we can provide for you. I would like to flip back to page 2 just to tell you a little bit about Standard Bank. Standard Bank has been around since 1947, so it's older than I am, which is great. And we are privately and locally owned. Our corporate headquarters is in Hickory Hills, but we have a very strong established presence in Illinois and Northwest Indiana. Our assets are $2.43, and we have a legal lending limit of $50 million. On page 3, I'm not going to go through all these pages, but I'm going through the highlights. Page 3 is really important because, as we all know, every area went through some economic challenges from about 2007 to 2012. Standard Bank is one of the few banks that actually worked with our customers to help them through those difficult times. I was not at Standard. I didn't come back to Standard Bank till 2013. I was at a bigger bank. And a lot of the bigger banks said, bye-bye customers, you're having trouble, we don't want your business. Standard Bank helped a lot of businesses get through the bad economy, just like the Village of University Park helped people get through the bad economy. But what the bank did that was unique, in addition, is the bank went out and raised capital. We raised $138 million in capital to put back into the bank to make the bank stronger than ever. Half of that went to pay back the TARP funds at a full amount. The other half is being used to try to acquire other banks in the community. I did provide on page 4 a listing of our safety and soundness ratios that show that the bank is very strongly capitalized. The FDIC, which insures banks, gives us some measurements of what is strongly capitalized, and as you can see on the right-hand side, Standard Bank exceeds those in every case. You might wonder, why is it that Standard Bank is a good choice for you? I think the first thing is, I'm here. I want your business. I have a passion for working with government, just like I know all of you have a passion for your communities. I know you're here on an evening night giving a lot of your time. I give up a lot of time to work with my customers. I'm here. I work with my customers anytime they need me. I like to think of Standard Bank as giving you the best of both worlds. We have all the products that a large bank has, but we have what I like to call a relationship focus and a high-touch customer service of a community bank. I'm not sure where all of you bank, but a lot of the large banks have gotten away from that personal service. We give personal service. We are proactive with coming out and talking to our clients. My reaching out was one example of being proactive. Our employees are very involved in our communities. I want to mention 2 awards that we got. One was from the Illinois Bankers. We got a Community Service Award 2 years ago for all the things we do in our communities. And we got an American Bankers Award for small business lending. And we use a team approach, so there's a lot of people on the team. What does it mean to have a government institutional group? It means you have a specialty group. It's a targeted growth area of the bank. We are very familiar with what the unique needs are of government. Financial statements, for example, as Sherry knows, very different for government. We have people that understand that. We try to respond to your needs. We're a member of different industry associations, and we support events of our clients. So if you were to decide that you wanted to move to us, what we would do is we would talk to the board and say, what's your big event in town? What's something that we could help you with? And help you with doesn't just mean getting you a check. It means helping you, having our employees come out, get to know all of you, and get to be really involved in that event. On page 7, when I go to a new prospective client, I always like to ask, are the current financial providers that you're using talking with you regularly, meeting with you, being proactive, supporting your events? I would tell you that almost everybody I go out and talk to, unless they're a Standard Bank customer, they tell me no. Because banks tend to wait for the customers to come in. We tend to go out and ask for that business. So it's our job, I feel it's our job, to come up with suggestions, solutions, to keep you current in what's happening with banking. And to come up with what are the best products and services, what's the best account types for you, what are the best practices. I've listened very intently to the meeting today, and I've heard you talk about some of the great ideas that you are planning, like the workshops on finances. This seems like a great time to make a change in a bank, consolidate everything into one, and usually by having a consolidated relationship, you're going to kind of get more bang for your buck because you're going to be able to use more of your balances to pay for services. So the fees are going to be much, much smaller. We're very flexible. I'm going to skip a couple pages, but I want to go to 2 that are specific to, a couple that are very specific. On page 11, I mentioned 2 things already, SB at work and financial education. The other thing we have is we have a special military banking program. Veterans are very important in the community, and we have a special program for veterans. If you flip to page 12, I'm sure that there's probably not any bank that you have talked to or would talk to that could tell you exactly what they've done in your community with mortgages. If you look at page 12, these are programs that we have offered to residents of University Park on the mortgage side. These are programs that were available to a number of communities, but they were offered to your people. And we get that word out by actively coming out and doing a lot of programs. And if you look at page 13, we've done a lot of outreach to Governor State, which is right here in your community. We are not the bank for Governor State. We would love to be the bank for Governor State, but even though we're not, we have done outreach programs there for credit, for mortgage assistance. We've done veterans events. We've worked with their business school. We've participated in their golf outing, and I serve on their arts and cultural event committee. So we are very active already in your community. We'd like to be more active. We would love to have your business. I think you would be very happy with working with us because we want to be your partner. Now, one new thing is, your current banks are Old Plain Trail and U.S. Bank, and I certainly never try to say anything negative about a bank, but I was just with a customer last week who is at U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank has the current Illinois Funds program, and I know that they are contacting some of their customers about making changes in rates and fees and things like that. So that's also something to keep in mind. I just learned that last Friday because I was out with a current customer. But I want to specifically thank Manager Townsend, Finance Director Floyd, and the Mayor for a series of meetings that we had prior to today. My understanding is that they have talked to their 2 current banks, and they've also talked to 2 other banks. And so I'm here presenting because we really want to work with you. I think the program we put together is a good one. The pricing is certainly very attractive. You're going to get more bang for your buck by consolidating. And the timing is right with everything else you're doing along the financial side. So I would open it up. I didn't want to take all the time and go through the whole presentation because I know that you got it ahead of time. But I'm hoping that I hit all the high points for you, and I certainly would open it up to any questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
And I appreciate you taking the time with this presentation. My question is, what would it take to get a Standard Bank branch in this area, in University Park, not just from a municipal standpoint, but for our residents?
Banking is, I cannot commit to a branch in the town. What I can tell you is the direction that banks are going. Banks are, and we are certainly looking to buy other banks and, based upon that, expand our footprint. Right at this point in time, as you look through the paper, banks are closing branches, and that's because the trend is toward people not going into banks anymore. The trend is toward people doing things from home. So, if you read the paper, you see Chase is closing branches, Fifth Third is closing branches. We're not really closing branches. We're keeping what we have. We're trying to buy other banks to have a more expanded presence. But we think, and we've had this conversation in the series of meetings we had previously, we think that we can offer you services to the village staff and the residents through making some special arrangements, doing some programs, things like that. It's hard to commit to, banks are not really committing to brick and mortar right now, and of all the banks that you talk to, I don't believe anybody committed to putting up a branch in town, because the movement is kind of away from that. The movement's toward, either keeping what you have or reducing them, not adding more. And that's because, you hear all the ads on TV about bank from your home, bank in your underwear, all those kind of things, those ads. And that's because everything is moving more to online. So we talked about, we are certainly committed, if we were to get your business, we're certainly committed to working with all of the village officials, all of you, and the village staff, and we want to do some programs for your residents. So we can pick certain days where we can have a banker available. We can do some educational programs. We can have a banker available certain times. But typically, even if you notice a bank had branches in Jewel food stores, and a bank had branches in other grocery stores, and credit unions have had branches in schools. A lot of those have closed because what they have found is that they don't get enough traffic. Everything is about traffic. So we'll work with you. We'll come up with, I think we're probably the most creative bank that you can possibly talk to in terms of coming up with something that's a customized approach. But I can't really commit to a full service branch, but I don't think anybody could either.
I have a
And
question.
trustee Brown, that was one of the things that we highlighted
we went to 3 different banks, and none of them, all of them said the same thing, everything's online. But that's really, and Lord knows, that's not what we really wanted to hear. One thing she could offer that some other banks did not offer to us, which was an ATM machine, and have that locally stationed in our police department. So that's some type of financial expert. But she did say that the other ones were. We went to BMO, we went to Standard.
PNC.
PNC, and they're talking about coming too as well. But we'll listen to them, but we do would like, they don't want to do it. You know, this on the news yesterday, it's a new bank that it's totally virtual. They have no branches at all, and they're offering lower rates. But right now, she's offering to come to the village and have some programs here, as she said, and talk to people, open accounts, and give them a little more of a banking knowledge if they can. Any other trustees? Excuse me, any other trustees? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
You can answer a question on the side if you'd like to.
I have a
question.
You can't answer.
Process through.
Thank you very much. And feel free, I think you all have my cards. If you have any other questions, feel free to call me.
Okay, you can answer a question on the side. No problem. Okay, Mayor. Report. I have a report. Right. Oh, sorry. Sure did pay our bills. Okay. Yeah, we got a list. Did everyone get their list for bills payable? Yeah. I guess this is the newest one, latest one. Tax, this is 4-2D, this is the one we got here. There was another. Okay. Wait, you can get a copy. Anyone have an extra copy? You want an extra copy of the bills payable? I think this is it.
I've got it.
Yeah, this is it.
I can pay here someone. I got 2 guys I can share.
For your approval is the listings of the general operating expenses for the Village of University Park, and the following is the grand total of the everyday expenditures from November 11, 2015 to November 24, 2015. This is the grand total of all expenses. General operating funds, $111,506,044. Road and Bridge, $34.58. Town Center, $1,220.50. Golf Course, $22,516.44. Capital Fund, $7,181.36. Totaling $142,459.32. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Ruben, second by trustee Wilson.
Question,
Yes, sir.
check number 85942. Call One Incorporated, phone service, $9,971.60.
That's the phone service.
What, for the,
All our phones?
for the building?
Yes.
Okay. 85946, constituent outreach, mobile phone application, $3,488.
That's the fire and police department.
Fire and police?
Yeah, that's their mobile phone for their vehicles.
Now, I wasn't here last meeting, but 85956, why are we having so many locks changed? I mean, the trustees don't even have a key to an office, and I see all these locks changed.
That don't make no sense.
You know, and what was the cure? What are we gonna steal?
Well,
I resent the
asked the
fact that
question.
you talking about security. What am I gonna steal?
I didn't say you were still, I said security. That's all I said, sir.
No, we
And
have
to
an
let you
office.
know-
No, we don't
No,
have an
I'm letting you know, you said security. Someone just tried to break in here the other day, 97.
Well, we still should
So,
have an
that's
office.
it.
So why we keep paying all these locksmiths? Because the last bill was about $600, $700 some dollars.
Right.
Okay. Check 85,984, Motorola Solution, 3,400.
That's for the county radio service for the police department.
So they got
So,
2 sets of radios
right, one is for the vehicles, for the fire and police.
for the fire and police.
Yes, for their vehicle radio service.
And then they got
you
another
have
set.
The radio, yeah, the Motorola is for the police department.
Trustee, it's for the radio band, what we have, based on EastCom, we have a proprietary contract with Motorola that runs our police band.
Okay.
So that's to pay Motorola to allow us to use their network, their digital network for our police radios.
Okay. Check 85990, Open Government Incorporated, Government Transparency Web Application, $6,000.
Right, OpenGov is a contract that we entered into early in May that will allow the financial data to be downloaded and presented on the web.
Any others? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Larry Drive.
Votes aye, pay the bill.
Trustee Wilson. Aye. Trustee Payton.
Both sides to pay the bills.
Trustee Griffin.
Votes no.
Trustee Rudez.
Votes aye to pay the bills.
Trustee Oscar Brown.
Votes aye. Pay the bill.
Mayor Covington.
Okay, this time, any report from the staff?
I got it.
Okay.
Can I get a mic? My mic.
Microphone check, microphone check.
This is the report from the police department. As observed today, I am taking time for the public comments. It will be greatly appreciated, and I'm asking in advance for the next meeting. Any public outbursts, you will be immediately removed from this meeting. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. Be transparent with everybody. Everybody will get 3 minutes. When your 3 minutes are up, you are done, and that's it. I work for everybody in this room, the citizens, the board, the entire board, everyone, okay? There will be equal law enforcement services to this village and everybody that commutes to and from this village, okay? Now, I had a meeting this weekend with one of our subdivisions. We had a wonderful community meeting. The mayor and trustee Griffin participated. As I say always, I have an open door policy. If any other subdivisions want to schedule a community meeting with me, they have any concerns as far as law enforcement services, please let me know, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to schedule a meeting on the weekend when, individuals are out of work. So we can sit down, we can collaborate, and we have an open line of communication. So the police department can serve you in the manner that you feel you need and deserve. In saying that, there have been some issues brought up in regards to squatters in the village. The police department and code enforcement united are working towards mitigating these issues. The Rosedale subdivision provided a list of addresses to me. We've been diligently following up on these addresses for squatter activity. If any other locations within the village have squatter activity, please send me an email or call my executive assistant. I want to know these locations so I can get with code enforcement so we can address these as quickly as possible. We had an incident on the 600 block of Clover this weekend. Our police department is diligently working and ensuring that transparency is given and everybody on the board, as well as everybody in the village that contacts the police department, to provide appropriate information up to the limit where the police department can provide it. It's an open criminal investigation. A lot of things there's a lot of information we cannot provide, but we will try to give you as much information as humanly possible, okay? And that's all I have for my report. Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees, Manager, and fellow directors.
No, we don't do that. Okay, go ahead.
I'm here from I'm here from the University Golf and Conference Center, and I'm here just basically letting you guys know that we are transitioning into our new schedule, that we will only operate business hours as of right now from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this will transition us into a farther deepening winter schedule where we will only be coming conference center only to accommodate those that have payable events on the books with us, and this will free up a lot of space as far as financial revenue, as far as our payroll is concerned. And day-to-day operations will be cut drastically by just becoming a conference center where we don't see a lot of money being made during this winter season. Any other department heads?
Well, you know, I'll just be short on my comments, but I want to ask the people a question. Do you think that you guys deserve full-time representation from your elected officials? And do you also believe that the burden of taxes shouldn't be on the local government? What is that? That we should not put the burden of taxes. I believe that economic development should lower our taxes and not the burden. Local government should be funded on the backs of taxpayers. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be pushing forward in the future. Encouraging economic development, relieving the taxpayers, and also we have to take a real serious look at where our government is run. The people deserve full-time representation, and when I was in Nashville at a local conference, one of the topics were, can you provide full-time representation from a part-time job? The answer is absolutely not. I think the time is coming in the near future for our village to have full-time representation, because the people deserve that. And those are some things I just want to leave you with. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you. Anybody?
I have a report. Had an opportunity to pick up one of the, I guess it's called City News, back there on the counter. I want to read this from you from the paper and then give you a very definite response. Asked if he has taken his concerns to the mayor's office, he said that the people do bring up concerns, are quickly made the subject of scorn by the mayor and several trustees, and sometimes even others attending the meetings. First, I want to thank the chief for bringing this very important thing up about outbursts while this meeting is going on. I want to tell everybody out there, anybody that's got any kind of concern, come and tell us. Otherwise, we won't know. You have to tell us your concerns. You are always welcome at this board meeting. Now, I don't know who these several trustees are that are subjecting people to ridicule. I've been called names myself, clown, for example. And I mean, I take offense. I'm only human and all, but I've said this before and I will say this again. This is a thick-skinned business. If you don't like getting called names and being falsely accused of stuff, this is not the line of work for you. Even if we go to full-time representation, I like that I do. But always come, even if you have something negative to say about me, I like criticism. Well, everybody doesn't say I like it, but I'm open to criticism. I hope it'll be constructive criticism. I work a little bit better. But I want you all to know, in this village, you are always welcome to come here. And if you have some criticism of me, try and make it constructive. Come up with, don't just call me names, because that's not really helping me to improve. The second thing I want to address is I was absent for a couple of board meetings. First meeting I was absent from was because I just received very good news. For those who don't know, I was involved in a accident that involved a fatality in May. I've been pretty much exonerated of that. I still got one minor issue to deal with on that one, but there was no way I was at fault, and that is, you don't know how much of a relief that is to a person. There was pretty much nothing I could do. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead or bring up anything about blood alcohol or nothing like that, but I can state with confidence I am not responsible for that. He's a major contributor to his accident.
I picked up a new client, and the second meeting was because an attorney and I was dealing with a case that questioned my moral fortitude, but I am an attorney. I will deal with the situation, and I will guide this person through this process that he's going through. However, there were some things that I thought I might not ever do as an attorney. I am going to do it. I am an attorney. I'm a pretty darn good one, and he's going to make it through this. I picked up a new client on Friday. As I was reading the paper when I first came in, I'm going to go ahead and read what Jackie Mitchell has to say, because I won't give her name because she didn't give me permission. But Jackie Mitchell says of the situation, we moved here in hopes of this being our home. And we're retired, but to be honest, the taxes are making us think about moving into our community with more to offer. We are paying property taxes on our home as if it were a $300,000 to $400,000 home in a prime location, and it's neither. This client I met with was I hate to say this now, a former resident of University Park who admired my work here as a trustee and decided to retain me as an attorney in regards to the situation her son was dealing with, but her sentiments were pretty much this, that taxes are too high and we have nothing to offer. But the third thing that she added that's not here is our conduct at these board meetings, how divided we are. We have to stop this. We have to stop falsely accusing each other. We've done something and you got some sort of proof and you bring it up, we got to answer. But as far as saying this guy's got a slush fund, and this guy's doing this, and this guy's doing that, or I'm just a clown, without some proof, some sort of proof, we got to stop this. We got to stop this because you know, the Jackie Mitchells of this world, this client that I just signed, I'm going to be representing, that's what we ought to be most scared of here. People leaving. People leaving. And this is one that's thinking about leaving, and I talked to one. They actually left. And it's partly because of us. There was one other factor. She's upside down on her mortgage. And she said this, but you know what? There could be a lot of people upside down in their mortgages in regards to what they have. We have to comport ourselves better because I actually talked to this person, and that was the reason she gave. Not just that, because where we're at. Not just that, because we're falsely accusing each other with no proof. Now, if you got some proof, go ahead and bring it up. If you don't got no proof, stop saying it. Point blank period. And we have to work together. It's that simple. Otherwise, the problem isn't going to be about property taxes. The problem is going to be where are all the people? Where are all the young people? Where are all the family people? She also brought up one other thing, and I'm just going to say this now because I've been gone for 2 meetings. My microphone did not work. That meeting, the last one I was here, I come back here again. This microphone still isn't working. It just started working just now. I'm going to tell you this right now. When Christelle Allen was here, the microphones worked. When Christelle Allen was here, videos got posted right away. I don't want to come back to this meeting and have to yell for you to hear me because apparently people listen to me and what I'm talking about. I want the microphone fixed. Point blank and period. I would really like Christelle Allen back. However, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff on December 8th, so we'll see. Yeah. But we ought to be bringing her back. And there's no way I'm going to come back here on December 8th and my microphone isn't working. If my microphone is not working perfectly when I sit down at this chair, I'm going to have to mention it. I'm going to mention it right away. So you see this chair right here? You make sure this microphone is working. I will not sit down in front of a broke microphone again. And while we're talking about Christelle Allen, I want to bring this part of it up anyway.
Attorney said that you can't.
How many times? How many times?
All right. I just want to talk about the one young man that she influenced, because I talked to him too, and that's actually the person I'm going to be working for. Proud. Yes. Proud of the work that she has done. A graduate from the Young Broadcasters in 2008. and now she's not here. And if I'm helping out her lawsuit by pointing out what the
What?
Hey,
Wait a minute, you know what? You have to be careful.
And you're an attorney. You know, unfortunately, because that's a pending issue, that's not something that we can speak on. So I'm just gonna ask all of the board members to refrain from even referencing that, because it's not appropriate to do an open session.
I'm not thanking you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
They're posted.
Mrs. John Council?
Mine are posted.
I've said enough tonight.
You don't have any comment? Okay.
Oh, I got a question for the manager though. And the chief. Chief, since we come in the wintertime, I've noticed that sometimes our residents can be locked out. Is there any way that you can implement some kind of lockout service or call for them? And also, I noticed a lot of other municipalities have the big push, the bumpers on the front of the squad cars. That might come in handy if it's just a seasonal thing, maybe just to help escort them off a road, just some food for thought.
Okay. Trustees, you have any other trustees?
What's this Slim Jim? That's what it is.
Trustee comments? Okay, I have my last comment here. My meetings were positive. For the board, as you said, we met with Rosedale, and I'd like to read as promised. I inquired about the serious problems we were experiencing with squatters. I discovered that we have various companies that fund the foundations, and some are on properties. This brings about a problem. The problems being are not local and their business too. I sent this email out. I will not go into detail of the email to the Rosedale area. We are going to build an ordinance to protect the area, and we found a lot of things that's not happening that should be happening. We have squatters just not in Rosedale. We found out there are other people. I've talked to our legislators, so they're gonna help us with this, and we're gonna come up with a very strict ordinance to protect the people in University Park. Also, as far as the residents, we used to have over 8,000 residents, and for the last 5-7 years, we went down to 72. So this has been going on for some time. This is not new to University Park. The schools also, the groundbreaking at Creek Monique, and also the new robotics. I was talking to someone that's very influential in that and have fundings, and we will start robotic training for our children here, 8 years and up. And there's going to be funded. They're already going to be funded. They're going to start next month. So if you come out, and then when I hear the discussions about people getting along, you cannot control adults. They're going to be who they are. Look at the newspaper every day. What's going on in Springfield, what's going on in Washington, D.C. How I was very disturbed when they said about our president of the United States that he's going out of office, and for them to say he was a rotten president, that he had no legacy. That's just terrible. But you know, again, people are entitled to their own opinion, and as someone said, it means absolutely nothing that falls to the ground. And I pray that one day the adults can be who they are, and people have their own reasons of what they do and why they do them. And it takes everybody to make a world. I can't change anyone. I can only love you and love you in another space. That's all we can do. So at this point in time, I ask for an adjournment. So we'll go to University Park. At this time, we go to adjournment, and everyone have a happy holiday. Is there a motion second? Moved by Clarity for the executive session? No. Happy Turkey Day, everyone.